Yeah.
Hi Sanjay, nice to meet you here. I know you're the chair of the South Gloucestershire Council. Do you mind telling us more about yourself and the council?
Yeah, Solomon, great pleasure meeting you this evening. My name is Sanjay Shambhu. I am a councillor representing Charlton and Crepes, and also at the moment the chairman of the South Gloucestershire Council. My role is as the chairman of the South Gloucestershire Council. I am the civic head of the district, and my job is to basically represent the district in civic functions.
The council is all about the South Gloucestershire, so it includes postcode like BS 32, 34, 33.
So South Gloucestershire, as you see, this is geographically it's a very large district, compared to Bristol. I think geography-wise, area-wise, it may be as big as Bristol. It includes a lot of BS postcodes, and also Gloucestershire SN postcode, a tiny amount of Bath postcode, which is B, and maybe a very small area from Swindon SN.
Oh, so complicated.
It's complicated.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. I was in a civic event to open a bike race for the railway museum, and the invitation came from the chairman of the museum, and they gave me the address of his. Their team gave me his home address, so I drove to his home unknowingly, and that was still in South Gloucestershire. It took me about an hour to drive to his house.
Oh, so large. So somehow South Gloucestershire has become a favorite place for many Hong Kong immigrants to UK. So I don't know whether you know the reason why they're choosing South Gloucestershire instead of Bristol or other places.
So, big welcome to everyone from Hong Kong and South Gloucestershire. And in my own constituency, I see several of very lovely people here who has come from South Gloucestershire. I've met at least hundreds of them, So they're lovely people. They're always welcome. And as you know, there are situations in Hong Kong which is necessitating people to leave their own country and come here. And this country is welcoming all of them with open arms, and that welcome includes for me as well.
Hi Sanjay, I know you study in Oxford. Could you tell us what do you read, and so what's your experience in the Oxford University?
Yeah. So of course, so I'm a software engineer, and I did a master's in software engineering from Oxford. I was part of Kellogg College, which is not the oldest of the college, like not Trinity and Jesus College, but it's about 70 years old, and slightly smaller college there. The best part of Oxford, I would say, there was the Oxford Union, where Oxford Union of Debating Society, where you get every Thursday in the term time, you would have speakers from all across the world, and you get inspired of different thoughts and ideas, and the debates takes for and against. One example I can give you was there was a subject where Mr. Soames, who is the grandson of Winston Churchill, was there, and it was something against the topic was something against Winston Churchill. And we all worship him. He's the greatest.
All the politicians worship him.
Exactly, the greatest prime minister we ever had. So you see that you go to listen to debate, sometimes participate in the debate, and you have your own views and logic. And the best part is that you learn to respect opposing views, even if you disagree with those. In this country, I think vast majority of people who would not accept great criticism of Churchill. But when you go to a place like Oxford Union Debating Society, you learn to respect opposing views, even if it's something which you don't like. So I think that was the greatest experience I had. Those are on the humanity side. Software engineering wise, I find I found the experience very enriching and sometimes very, very challenging. So I did have a master's from in software engineering from India before going to Oxford.
Well, what do you study for the master degree?
Software engineering.
Software engineering.
Yes.
So like most Indian in UK.
Yes. Yeah.
Working on the IT.
Yeah. My generation. So I before coming to UK, I have lived in the Netherlands for a few years, and I started my own company and moved
You're
to UK.
entrepreneur.
I tried a few times. Sometimes I was successful, and I couldn't become Elon Musk, you know.
So you mentioned that you're also an immigrant yourself. So when do you come to UK? And you know, a lot of Hong Kong immigrants are finding it apprehensive about the process because you know you have to wait a number of years. Even though Hong Kong people are generally on a better route because the BNO visa doesn't really require much for you. But could you talk about a little bit more about how the process works and is there anything that we should take note at earlier stage so that we can make sure that we can go through the applications for ILR and then citizenship 5 or 6 years later?
So, as you said, I have been through the process. I came to this country in 2011, and I came as a highly skilled migrant here. And it's not easy, you know. The amount of paperwork you need is massive, and at my time it was even more. So I would say when you're going for ILR, and I can say from my experience is that if you can keep a record of your income and your where all have you lived, you know, because there are strict criteria about residency that you must be in the country for 5 years, and there are certain exceptions, you know. So I created a spreadsheet that how many days in a year I have been I have been away from the country.
Actually, there's even no passport stamp when you leave UK because they don't have border control for leaving. So what you have is the boarding pass. Is that what you save?
Yeah, boarding pass and the ticket.
And the tickets.
Yeah. So in my experience, Home Office, if you submit an evidence and if it's a valid evidence, they do not deny it. So every application, I didn't use any lawyer. I could have afforded a lawyer, but I thought that
you did by yourself?
I did all by myself. Yeah. So because the criteria was straightforward, like do you meet criteria A, B, and C, and if you do meet it, then submit the evidence, you know. And I got mine done, my wife's done. Both of my children were born here. So first one wasn't born as British citizen, so for him as well, he acquired British citizenship, and my second child was born British. So, but I've done all of this myself, and if you're good with documentation, organizing, and you know the criteria well in advance, you can prepare for it, you know.
So you came to UK just 11 or 12 years ago, but now you're already the chair of a council. So do you think UK is a pretty inclusive society so that you can rise so fast and get into the public service so soon?
100%, 100%. You know, I see it as a great privilege that what I have achieved in this country, I may not have achieved in my home country. So this is my home country now, and I'm proud of this country. India and UK has shared values, so it wasn't a great change for me. However, you know, having said that, the system accepts you, and people are friendly. If you throw a smile, you get a smile back on you. You know, so. And as you know, I am part of the Conservative Party, and historically it was said that Conservative Party is a tough party in this country for immigrants. I never felt that. I always thought that this is the right party for me, and I was welcomed everywhere, and even today, you know. Within the party, I am the chairman of Bristol, South Gloucestershire, and Gloucestershire. So you have got the association chairman and then the area chairman. And I was elected area chairman of the party, which represents at the moment 13 parliamentary constituencies.
Hi Sanjay, there are several levels of government in UK. Could you please explain to us what are these different levels of governments and what are they responsible for?
Yeah, so let's just start from the top. Central government responsible for almost everything, national security to defense and education and planning and major transport. That's the national and the law and order. So that's the national government dealt with the Parliament and Westminster. Then you come to the regional government. So in England, we haven't got a devolved administration, but if you go to Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland, they have devolved administration like First Minister. In England, we haven't got that. In England, the form of devolved government we have is the regional mayors. So in our case, West of England, Metro mayors, basically the Wakeham. They are responsible for the matters which needs coordination between more than one counties or district. In our case, the transport and planning. So not all the planning. So the planning which only pertains to the district or county, that doesn't need to go to the regional mayor. But the planning which requires, for example, if you're building a road or if you're building doing a housing development which impacts the major transport. So I would say the regional mayor at the moment, in our case, the transport is a big issue for us. So that's the regional government. Then you come down to the county or district. In South Gloucestershire, you've got unitary government. So what that means that the function of the county as well as the district is combined into one.
I see.
If you go to, and the same is true in Bristol as well. So Bristol is a county as well as there is no sub-district there. If you go to Gloucestershire, which is our neighbouring district, you've got the county council, then you've got district councils.
I see.
And both have got different functions. So it's slightly, depending on where you live, it changes. So district government is planning applications. I said in previous questions that education, social care, street care, road and transport. So these are the key priorities for the district. And then you've got the parish council or town council, depending on where you live. Their responsibility primarily is looking after the community centers, parks. So these are the different four tier of government we have.
Okay, there are many Hong Kong people moving to UK, including South Gloucestershire. So what kind of support normally the council level government can provide to Hong Kong immigrants?
So that's a really good question. I was in an event organized by South Gloucestershire Council last week, and they want to offer the same degree of services to everyone who's coming from Hong Kong. The services offered to the same level to other residents, So right from social care to planning to education, everything, So all of this, we want you to come and become part of it, contribute to it, get benefited by these schemes which the council offers, and that's the reason, the council is hosting all of these outreach events with the community where they know about what we do and they participate in it. So please do join us.
So there is recently a referendum in Bristol City. They are changing from a mayoral system to a committee system. So how does it affect the future cooperation between the neighbouring local councils?
So if you know the history, Bristol mayoral system is only 12 years old. So there was no mayor before 12 years old. So it used to be a committee-based system like we have in South Gloucestershire and another area. So I think it's not going to change the way we work with Bristol. We have got a very close relationship between Bristol and South Gloucestershire. I think that will continue. There is no problem with that.
I know you were elected in 2019, the last time. And when will the next election be held? And how can we register as a voter and vote on the voting day?
So if you go to South Gloucestershire Council website, you can fill up a form and request a registration application form. And you fill it in and then you post it. And you're registered, So it's straightforward. If you, since I know you're my constituent, if you give me a list of people and their addresses, then I can ensure that all of them receive an application form to register. So this is straightforward. You can request it online. It's just posted to you, and you can register it. Yeah.
Well, most of us were here back in 2019, so we don't know what the ballot box, what the ballots look like. So, and how many people we can select from the list. So, could you elaborate on that?
Yes, so the next election is in 2019, May 2019, and elections in UK most of the time, unless there is something extraordinary happens, elections always take place on the first Thursday of May. So first Thursday of next year will be our elections.
Oh, 2023?
2023.
May the first of May.
Yeah, first Thursday of May. And on that day, the seats will be up for grab for the parish council. So in Charlton Hayes, for example, there will be 7 or 9 parish councils depending on the final proposal. And then for district council. So you will have in Charlton Hayes you will get 2 ballot papers. One ballot paper with candidates from all of the party, and I expect at least all the 3 major parties will field candidates. You can vote for 3 councillors on the district ballot paper. Then you can vote for 7 or 9, depending on how many seats are there, and the officer who will be there at the polling station, they will advise you. So you can vote for 7 people or 9 people for the parish council.
How many people will be elected for the parish council?
So that hasn't been finalized yet. That's the reason I say 7 or 9. Let's say, for the sake of this conversation, it's 9 people. If they all, as part of the consultation, if that's what is decided, then you can select 9 councillors to run your parish, and they will be responsible for setting up the parish and ensuring that it's a smoothly run, appointing the clerk and all of that.
So normally, how many people will run for that parish council?
We don't know, because you can stand to become a parish councillor, and I invite you to stand. So it could be 9, it could be 20, it could be 5. There are areas like in Passway. Last year there were 15 seats, and I think there were at least
so many
25 or 30 candidates.
I see.
Highly contested.
I see.
You will see another area.
I see.
Almondsbury.
I see.
They had 15 seats, and there were like 10 councillors, 10 candidates, so they couldn't fill the vacancy. So at parish level, it depends from place to place and how competitive it is. At district level, you can be rest assured that it will be competitive, because at parish level, many of the parties do not field candidate, because they think that it's people coming together and forming their own smallest state of government.
I see.
From district level, it starts to become political, because it's about implementing policies, and people have different ideas of how to implement policy, which policy or which not policy. So it starts to become a little competitive, and I expect all the major parties to fill candidate in the district. And in our area, there will be 3 seats, and you will have 3 votes.
So in case for the parliamentary election, which might happen anytime before 2024, I suppose. So the choice will be simpler, because you only have to select one from the list, right? Is that right?
Yes. So if you go by the rule book, the parliamentary election is not due until, I think, Jan 2025. Yeah. It may be possible that the government calls the election in 24 May, so that it becomes normal term, because usually the election takes place on the first Thursday of the May for historical reasons, and I think, in my personal view, it's the right that it's brought to that. Yeah. So whenever it happens, you will see about half a dozen candidates on the parliamentary ballot paper, and you can vote for the best candidate you think is going to serve you.
There's a very large development area which is known as the former Fulton Runway, or another name, Brabazon, that's going up. There will be 6,000 new houses or apartments. So Could you talk about that development? I think it's quite huge.
It is, I think it's not only about the housing development. There will be 6,500 houses being developed in the next 10 to 20 years, you know. And it's not only that, it's also the other amenities, the business amenities, the hotels, the arena, the Bristol Arena is being developed, which is, if it goes up as per plan, it will be ready by next year. And the public amenities like the community centres, the South Gloucestershire Council has submitted a bid to create a community centre in hangar number 16. Then you see the parks and also the cricket playground. So it's a combination of all of this and the schools. So there is a high school planned to be opened in 2027. There are planned for 3 primary schools. There is 2 railway stations, I believe. Railway stations. So it's a massive development, and it's a big priority for, I believe, the local government here, and YTL is doing fantastic work. There is immense community support to this. We know that this comes with a bit of challenge as well, because if you're adding more houses, then the number of cars increases, and then the traffic increases, and we have to ensure that the adjoining roads are also brought to a standard to meet the requirement for more people. So we are very excited about it. We personally, I'm pro building houses because we need more houses, right? Children need houses, and the fact is that the people living longer now, life expectancy has been growing. So 100 years ago, people didn't live 100 years or 90 years. And now our life expectancy is 83 years, if I'm right. So I expect that to go up, you know. I expect that to become 90. So I am very pro building houses.
Well, but what about the problems associated with the new housing, such as transport? You know, there's a traffic jam every morning already. So would they add to additional pressure that is forced onto the existing infrastructure?
Yes, I think that's true, and we are cognizant, of this issue, and especially, for example, you see the arena when a big event happens, then you will see thousands of cars coming into, you know, and there has to be a multifaceted approach to resolve that issue, like widen the road, you create public transport like CPME, which is being led by Wake-Up. You build the train stations. It's not only the cars. You build the cycle paths. So it's a combination of all of this, and I think this is achievable. You know, no one is perfect, but I think I have very high confidence in the council that they will be able to deliver a solution to the transport issue in collaboration with other partners.
So what is your stance on the continuation of the BNO visa policy?
So this policy was started by our Conservative government at Westminster. Priti Patel was homesick at the moment, and personally, I am fully in support of this. You know, people in Hong Kong, they are our friends across the continent. You know, and they need to be looked after. You know. And if they want to come to this country, they should be welcome, and I support them, and they should have the right to come here, you know. And
yeah, but there are still many Hong Kong people who, because they weren't born before 1997, or because the parents didn't help them get a BNO back then, they don't really have a BNO or the status to apply for BNO visa. So I know there are other immigration paths, such as the skilled worker path, things like that. Do you think they can try those paths, and to get to UK?
To be honest, you know, and this is my personal view, not a party or a council view. I believe same facilities should be offered to younger generation as well. If they want to come, they should come. As a British citizen, my interests are to ensure that we bring quality immigration in this country, and every person of the Hong Kong origin I have met, they are net contributor to our society, to our economy, and I think it's a win-win for both the countries. If they come, they will be great citizen here, and they will contribute to the success of our country. So, in my personal view, I'm strongly in favor of extending it, and if that's not done, then they're welcome to use other routes available. Absolutely.
So you are pro-immigration, right? So
Absolutely. I would like to say that I'm pro-quality immigration, and first thing first is that I'm a British citizen, and the British interests are paramount to us. We do have our obligations to Hong Kong people as per the agreement. You know about that, so yes, absolutely. I welcome quality immigration.
all right. What is the reason that you chose Conservatives instead of other parties?
So the main reason is that Conservative Party is the party of good governance, lower taxation, party of freedom. So we don't, as a party, our value is not to say that what should you wear, what ideologies you believe. You should decide how you should spend your money. So these are the things which are close to my heart. I'm a free man, and that's the reason I have joined the Conservative Party.
Okay, thank you very much for
Thank you.
receiving my interview.